Starring? Well, you tell me. Okay, everybody on the star with this one is for you. Who starred as Frankenstein? Was it A, Lon Chaney, B, Hillary, or C?
All the possibilities. Now, at the studio here, when you're making a movie, Academy Award-winning movie, Emmy Award-winning television show, you have to have somewhere to go where you can create any time period, any city, any environment the story demands. Here at the studio, we got a couple places you can do that. Our back lot, which has our outdoor sets, and our front lot, which has our 35 sound stages. Inside the sound stages, we can create any environment the story demands. Now, the sound stages give us optimum control over lighting, sound, and weather effects. Oftentimes, they will shoot outdoor scenes inside sound stages if they involve rain, snow, thunder, and lightning, because they can control the man-made weather. Dr. Seuss has How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Jurassic Park. As we make the turn, you see Soundstage 25 on your left-hand side. This recently has been used to film some of the scenes for the sequel to Meet the Parents. It's called Meet the Fockers. It comes out December 22nd, starring Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, and playing Ben Stiller's parents, Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand. Up ahead on the right, well, you see a semi-trailer truck. Behind that is Soundstage 28, the oldest building on the front lot. That was the first building on the front lot to have a cement foundation and a steel frame. 28 on the right is the soundstage where they built the Paris Opera box sets for the Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney back in 1924. Here's historical footage on your screens. Now, this is what those Paris Opera boxes look like, and they still exist inside 28. They never took them down because there's a rumor 28's haunted, so they're leaving them alone. If they film in there, they just cover them up. Now, on your left, we got Soundstage 27. That recently was used to film scenes for a new Kate Hudson thriller called Skeleton Key. But 27 was most famously used as NASA in Ron Howard's Apollo 13.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
NASA's mission control that you find out in Houston, Texas, was meticulously recreated inside Stage 27. Everything had to be exact, even down to the tiniest detail. In addition to making blockbuster movies, we've also conquered the Broadway stage. Look at this. So much happened before Dorothy dropped in. On Broadway, one musical is flying higher than any other. Wicked. Now, taping. Movies are an entirely different matter. The average film can take months, sometimes years to complete, and it can involve literally hundreds of people. Right now, I'm going to call on Academy Award-winning producer, Mr. Brian Grazer. He's going to tell you folks right now how our movies get made.
So you want to know how movies get made? Well, for most of them, the process starts right here. These bungalows on your left house the production offices for writers, directors, and producers who currently have a development deal with the studio.
Now, what is development, Mr. Grazer?
What's development?
Yes.
Well, that's the stage of the project where the filmmakers come up with an idea for a movie. Then they try to get that idea produced.
That sounds easy.
It's not.
It's not.
Every year, the studio receives thousands of screenplays. Maybe 50 make it into development, and only a dozen or so actually get made into movies. So getting a script produced in Hollywood is kind of like winning the lottery.
Thank you for explaining that, Mr. Grazer. Folks, get your cameras out. We're going to leave the front lot and cross onto the back lot. Now, the back lot is where we shoot all the big stuff, outside scenes on a very large scale. For the most part, movies are based on illusions, and we're going to show you a lot of those illusions on the back lot here. First off, look on your left-hand side. You're looking at our Metropolitan sets. You'll be looking down New York Street directly on the left. Now look at the buildings. They look real, don't they? Like they're made out of brick and stone. But if you look very closely, you realize those buildings are fake. They're made out of foam rubber and fiberglass. Most of those buildings are not even complete structures. They are what we call facades, the front and sides of a building. We only build what the camera needs to see. These tree trunks were used in the Jurassic Park movies. Now you might say, well, didn't they shoot it on location in Hawaii? They did. Most of the film shot in Hawaii, but they did come up to the studio and use some of our front lot sound stages and portions of the back lot to complete the Jurassic films using some of these artificial tree trunks. If it's too difficult or expensive to go to a remote location, or too difficult or expensive to build a full-scale size set on the lot, what they do on the back lot, build a forced perspective miniature. Here's an example on your screens. The cabin and pickup truck you see on the monitor coming up on the left along with the bridge. This forced perspective snowy mountain scene used in Dante's Peak. We still use miniatures in our blockbuster miniseries 10.5 about the devastating West Coast earthquake. Miniatures were instrumental in bringing down the Seattle Space Needle, Golden Gate Bridge, and pretty much all of LA. All of these one-of-a-kind props and picture cars you see on the left were used in Jurassic Park 3 and the Lost World Jurassic Park. What say we round up some dinosaurs about now? Now those vehicles you saw on the left, we used the term picture car for them. A picture car is any vehicle used in the production of a motion picture or television show. It also might be a vehicle that does not have an engine in it. And that's so the vehicle can be lifted up and moved very easily from set to set or location to location. But speaking of location, we're changing ours again, going from the jungle islands of Costa Rica right around the corner into Old Mexico. Now, the real Mexico is just a few hours away. It's a popular spot for filmmakers, but if a director wants more control over his environment, all he's got to do come to the backlot here at Universal Studios and shoot in this location. You might recognize it from Orion Pictures' Three Amigos. Look how beautiful, sunshine and the birds are chirping. Let's stop for a moment and enjoy this. Did you hear thunder? Oh, look on the left, I see lightning. So much for the good weather. What follows thunder and lightning? Rain. I'm going to snap my fingers. Here it comes. Let's start Hollywood rain. Now that's created by placing sprinklers at the tops of the trees in the middle. They shoot the water straight out so it falls back down naturally just like rain. And that concludes the weather effects demonstration for today. No, it doesn't. In just a moment, you might hear a rumbling sound. That will signify a flash flood, headed straight for the tram on the left side. So get your cameras out, and you might get a little wet. Now we're stopped, so if you want to stand up and get a better look, go ahead. I think I just heard the rumbling sound. Here it comes, left side, flash flood. As you take your seats, look up at the monitor. Here's footage from 2002's Universal hit Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti. This footage shot right here at Flash Flood, Old Mexico.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid!
Yeah, we'll see about that. I will tell you that many, many years ago, filmmakers discovered that raindrops did not show up well on camera. They found if they added milk to the water, it just made the water more visible on screen. Now I sense our driver David's going to take a turn. Yes, he's turning onto Denver Street. Denver Street's the oldest street on the back lot where it all began back in 1912. Back then they did an awful lot of silent movie westerns. Some of the classic television westerns that shot here include wagon train, the Virginia and Laredo. Look at the buildings on both sides. These buildings were built to 7/8 scale. They were built smaller for a very good reason. They always wanted the cowboys to look larger than life. So when the cowboy rode down Denver Street on his horse against smaller buildings, the cowboy looked bigger, brawnier. Right now, why don't you just climb on your horse, get comfortable, and we will ride right on out of Denver Street. Yee-haw! Hold on, little doggies. Yee-haw! Minus the clock, where Doc Brown harnessed the bolt of lightning that sent Marty McFly back to the future in the original film. Now we're going to take a turn, and if you focus your camera on the left, you get a great photograph of that very classic, historic facade. You know, Michael J. Fox had to give an extremely versatile performance in the Back to the Future trilogy. He had to appear as several characters: teenage Marty McFly, middle-aged Marty McFly, son Marty Jr., daughter Marlene, and a distant relative from the 1800s. Now, Courthouse Square on the left gave an equally versatile performance, appearing as several different time periods. Here it's 1955 Hill Valley. Now, these facades are kept very plain looking, so when productions move in, they make it look like any city in the world they want, and also any time period they want. There is a forced perspective to the facades. The first floor is built to scale, second floor is built a little smaller, and the third floor is built even smaller than that. It's very subtle, but it gives the illusion that the buildings are much taller than they actually are. Now, these are facades, again, used for outside filming, but sometimes we need more control over lighting and sound than the outside sets provide. We got to build an outside set inside a soundstage. We got a whole outside block of New York City in this soundstage. We're going in, stay seated, and get your cameras out. One of the biggest stars in Hollywood is on this set today. First off, look to your left-hand side.
Police admit that they are powerless to stop the enraged beast. Military units are rushing to the scene. The beast was last sighted near the 200 block of Old Fulton Avenue. We now go to live coverage on the scene with our helicopter reporter, Kelly King. Kelly.
We're now hovering above the wreckage of a crushed L train. The helicopter beside us is searching for... Wait! There's a tramload of people down there. We've got to go down and warn them. Attention, people on the tram. You are in danger. Repeat, you are in what? No, we have to go down and help them.
Fully dressed, ready for filming. All we need is for our director to yell one word to begin filming. You know what the word is? That's right. Action! That'll get it going. Oh, it sure did. Oh, stay calm, remain in your seats. Slight tremor, nothing to worry about. We get this a lot out here. the tram. This was used to film a couple of the opening scenes in Seabiscuit. The film about the famous racehorse of the 1930s was up for Best Picture last year. The scenes are at the beginning of the movie when they go south of the border. Now check out the structures on your left side. You might recognize them from a critically acclaimed episode of Warner Brothers hit show ER. The scene, the episode involved them going down to Africa to work in a clinic. They didn't really go to Africa, they just came to our back lot and used this location. And speaking of locations, we're gonna change ours again. Look up ahead on the left. See the billboard? It says Amity Island. That's where we're headed. You all remember Amity, don't you? The small New England town that was terrorized by the ferocious, man-eating great white shark in Steven Spielberg's Oscar-winning Jaws. Don't worry, we caught the shark. He's hanging up on the right. That makes a good photo. And we have a diver in the water making sure there are no more sharks in the lake. Get out! Shark going under. He's headed right to you. Look out! Look out! Look out! Oh, poor Officer George. That man had a lot of guts. There they are. We better clear the area. Okay, we will. But keep your eyes on the yellow rubber float in the water on the right. We put live bait on that float in the hopes we can catch the shark. Sharks are always hungry. He took the bait. Oh, he took our beer. Oh, there might be a fire. Be prepared for anything. Those tanks on the dock are oxygen tanks. The fire's getting awfully close. I think they're going to blow. Look out! On your left are practical sets. They're built so you can film either on the inside or the outside. We have another very famous practical set coming up on your right-hand side of the tram. Musicals ever made, starring Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton. You might also recognize the Chicken Ranch set from the direct-to-video movie Beethoven's Fifth. Oh, get your kids used in Touchstone's movie The Lady Killer, starring Tom Hanks. On the right, the yellow home with the trellis in the front and the American flag, that was Leave It to Beaver's home in the film version of that popular story. And the green home coming up on the right, on the left with the nice porch was used by our late great President Ronald Reagan in the movie Bedtime for Bonzo. We've shot movies here, television shows, commercials, and music videos. Janet Leigh starred as Marion Crane in Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1960s thriller Psycho. Marion Crane had just stolen $40,000 from her boss and had a run-in with the local authorities. She headed out of town, it was getting late, she was getting tired, she needed to get off the road for a while. Luckily, she saw the light up ahead, the Bates Motel, 12 rooms, 12 vacancies, and Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins, at the front.
In this window right here.
Mother looks thin to me. I don't think she ate breakfast or lunch. We better get out of here before she gets upset. You don't want to be around Mother when she's angry, I tell you. There's that creepy Psycho music. Too late, Mother's mad. Let's get out of here fast.
Jurassic Park. Oh, yeah.
SquarePants movie. That film will open around Thanksgiving here in America. It's going to have the very dark in here. Look, coming up on the right side, scarab beetles in a coffin. I hate those things. Nice beetles. Stay in the coffin. Oh, it's getting much, much darker. That's not a good sign, but what was that? Hold on. It sounds like an ancient curse. was not much of an ancient curse. Yes, it was. Look on both sides. Mostly skeleton warriors. Uh-oh. That sound means one thing, scarab beetles. I think they're coming in our tunnel. Look around. Can you see anything? I think the scarab beetles are invading the tram. Look in the video monitor. There's something on my foot. They're taking over. Look out. Look out! I'm really glad we all survived that. What y'all looking at? Do I have something on my face? It's just Beetlejuice, that's all. Well, we are going to head back to the theme park. The time's approximately 10 minutes after 3 p.m.
Nottingham, England? Stephen and Lorraine, Nottingham, England. Hello from Elkin. You're welcome. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Eddie, my cousin. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Keeping yourself hydrated? That's good. Yeah. Wow, man. That guy's crazy. Hey, what's up, Tabby? How you doing? Wow, there's all these people standing around. Make me freaked out. This ain't the circus. This ain't no freak show. It look like it. Man, you wrong, brother. Hey, what's up? How you doing? You've been thinking of that all day, haven't you, man? Couldn't wait for that one. It was very good. Speaking of cracking, I think you cracked one off, man. See you later. Cheers. Seinfeld. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Where's Shrek? Doug is right here, and they're asking for Shrek. Man, what's wrong with you? Shrek's on the toilet, man. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, huh? You want to take a picture? Somebody taking a picture? Cheers! Yeah, me, go wait.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing? Where you from? Wow, oh, you're from Nottingham, too. Wow, England. Well, pip, pip, cheerio. Cheers! What time is tea time? Tea time, 4 o'clock. Okay, just want to make sure. Hey, it's tea time already. I love that.
He's the only candidate who will not say a word. So if you want a president who will be seen, not heard, vote hardball marks for president. On election day, let's throw our votes away. Hardball marks for president. He's the man who good Americans admire.